Hey everybody, happy Thursday, February 22nd. We're live with Jalyn Isley today on the amazing National Margarita Day. Cheers.
Cheers.
I promised Dr. Nalda that has no sugar and no alcohol in it. That would be a lie. But I'm not drinking it. That might also be a lie. So welcome. Let us know you can hear us and see us. That's my biggest fear always. Tony Figueroa is on. Tony Figueroa actually got me this camera setup that we have. Isn't that nice?
Thank you, Tony.
So let us know you can hear us and see us. I'm so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank
You
you.
have a big day today, which we'll talk
do.
about. Thanks, Tony. Cheers to you. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. I can't wait.
I know.
It's
So
exciting.
we have a lot to talk about because I love your topics. I loved your bio. I think there is so much in there that we can delve into, but we only have a little bit of time, so let's get it all. But people always like to hear your beginnings. So where you came from, and then we'll eventually get to how you got to the Fruit of Your Spirit launch today.
Certainly.
We'll end with that. So give us a little background.
Yeah, sure. So I am originally from Ohio.
We talked about that. You do not seem like an Ohio girl. They're scrappy.
I'm
I have a
Chinese.
friend, Kat Brower. She's from
Scrappy.
Ohio. They're very scrappy.
No one has ever described me as scrappy, and that's probably why I left Ohio. Maybe I just didn't fit in. I'm not entirely sure, but I grew up in Ohio. I went to school in New York, so I went to Cornell University, started working in New York City right out of college, spent a little bit of time in New York City, decided that wasn't really for me either.
Oh, so you didn't like the city?
You
Were
know,
you small town Ohio, or were you from?
I was from a very small town in Ohio. Now, I didn't like that either. And the reason why I'm in Orlando, I'm so excited to be in Orlando, is because I feel like it's the perfect balance.
It is.
It's not too tiny. It's not too big.
And we're growing, but there's still enough. There's still enough
still
hometown.
homey.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
homey.
exactly.
Hey Scott. Hey Britannia. It is bright in here today. I think that's our personalities. I don't know what's happening.
Or the margaritas.
Or it could be the margaritas.
So
you went from small town to New York City. So why not New York City? Just too big, too much?
New York City, yes, it was a little too much for me. I remember the very first apartment that I had shared with some roommates. You know, we split a one bedroom. It was $3,200 a month.
That's insane.
It was downtown Manhattan.
That's nice.
It was nice. It was nice. It was a luxury high-rise building too, so that also contributed to that steep price. But someone took the bedroom, and then we put up a temporary wall in the living room. So it's 3 people living in this one bedroom apartment.
Unbelievable.
But we had just graduated from college, so we're like, whatever.
And so how about that? I was born in Northeast Jersey, so I'm familiar enough with Manhattan and how that all works. But I came down here when I was a kid. I didn't have to live there as an adult. I didn't have to travel as an adult.
Right.
What's it like? To me, it seems like the cost and the taxis. It's all about taxis, right? So Sex and the City makes it look so beautiful and it's easy, but it's not, is it?
Listen, if you're not living the Sex and City lifestyle,
that is not what's happening.
It was not for me. It's like if I can't be Carrie here, I might as well just pack up my bag.
But they do have food 24/7, and I would love that.
They do have food 24/7, amazing food 24/7.
And then what'd you do after New York?
So after New York, I actually went back to Ohio for a little while. I went back to Ohio. My family was having like some issues, and I felt like I was too far away. So I went back to Ohio for a little while just to be with my family and kind of get myself together as well. And then my boyfriend at the time, he proposed to me, and we decided to get married. And he was relocated to Orlando, and I couldn't wait. I was so excited. I'm like, yes, warm weather, finally. I've been in Ohio, I've been in New York, I even spent some time in New Jersey. I was there for a summer internship. So I couldn't wait to get down here to Orlando. And so I've been in Orlando ever since then. I mean, he and I have since split, but I stayed. I wasn't going back to Ohio.
So his job brought you here. You didn't tell us, or maybe I missed it. What was your degree in?
Oh, yes. So I got my degree in Industrial and Labor Relations.
Industrial and Labor
Relations. And you can do a number of different things with that degree. I decided to go into human resources. I knew I wanted to go into human resources when I started college. And so I've been doing HR for about 10 years now. I've been doing human resources for 10 years now.
That's right. That's how I found you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, certainly.
John Wells says, "Oh my God, that hair, I love it."
Oh, thank you. I love it too.
We have a very interactive audience always. They'll tell you.
Yes. So I do HR work as well. Go ahead.
But you went on to continue. You continued your education.
I did. I got my master's at Rollins. My master's in human resources at Rollins. And I have been working at PepsiCo in human resources. So I've been doing that here in Orlando. And then I also do success coaching for millennials.
So you do a lot. So that's
I
sort
do
of
a
where it
lot.
goes. So you do work in corporate in HR.
I do.
And so are you an HR director? Are you a consultant? How does that, because HR is such a big thing because everybody's so sue happy. There's so many different guidelines. It's crazy. And so many things that you have to be so careful about, which we should be. I'm not saying you shouldn't.
Right.
But there's a whole bunch of rules that you have to figure out how to follow.
There are a lot of rules. And luckily, you know, I'm the type of person that doesn't mind rules. So I certainly, you know, try to make sure that our workforce is happy and productive and that we're doing things that actually add value. You know,
it's important because I think people stay, and I'm sure you can have a testimony for this. People stay at a company. It's not always about the money. It's about the culture, the environment, and how they are made to feel, or their perception of how they feel in the workplace. And I think a lot of companies miss the boat on that. The smaller companies, it's very hard. We did a show yesterday where they were talking about the culture and how one person can be the cancer in that culture, and it can ruin the entire culture, which then is hard to recruit people or keep people.
Keep people, exactly. And then, you know, that's when they normally are calling me. Like, there's this cancerous person here who just is not a good fit for our culture, for our workforce. Can you help us?
So this obviously motivated you to become... because you do consulting.
Yes.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff in your bio about purpose and leadership.
Exactly.
So HR corporate, of course, has its own limitations. You do that, but you've stepped outside some on your own. Tell us about your journey.
Yeah,
there.
certainly. So I did. I stepped outside of my own, and I started to do success coaching, specifically for millennials.
And what's success coaching mean?
Success coaching is all about you taking control over your life and actually achieving the success that you actually deserve. You know, so how do you tap into your gifts, your talents, your strengths, your values? How do you use all of those things to actually achieve what it is that you set out for yourself? And it doesn't matter what goal it is. It's the same process either way. You know, you create a vision for that. You set up your action items and how you're going to do it. But the biggest thing is ownership, taking accountability for actually achieving those results. And that's where I step in to help you take that accountability, to help you take that ownership, and to help you get to where you're trying to go. And that's the best part of my job.
We have a new camera. Look, it just broke. It's okay. We're still going.
All technical difficulties. We're all set now. Look at that. Look at that. You're a pro.
Well, we hope it keeps going. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. So that was the best part of my job. You know, helping people actually achieve their career goals. They'll get stuck in a particular. They'll get stuck in a job and they want to do something else or explore something else. So me pulling out, you know, what's best.
Is it all millennials that you work with?
For the most part. So that is my target. I've worked with a number of people, especially when I do my workshops. I mean, you got people of all different types of generations and ages in there, and different backgrounds. So when I do workshops, you know, that is open to everyone. Normally when I'm doing my one-on-one coaching, it has normally been millennials gravitating towards me.
I find millennials to be such a fascinating group. I talk about how powerful they are all the time on the show because I feel like they've helped break down a lot of barriers that people my age, we would have just accepted status quo. And millennials demand a whole bunch more than I feel like we demanded. And they have these expectations. And then, of course, sometimes, though, on the flip side, like my children, all of my children, they all think that they should graduate college and be making $100,000 a year. So there is that flip side of that. But I love the fact that they have that passion about it and are willing to go, you know what, that's what I want, and I'm not going to settle for anything until I get there.
Until you get, now see, that's the getting there is where I step in. Exactly. So you've got your demands, you've got your expectations, you've got what you want, but are you willing to put in the work to get there?
Correct.
So that's where I step in and I help, you know.
Now, how do you?
Along the way.
I would imagine that the greatest challenge has to be the accountability, right? Because we can all come up with amazing goals and dreams, and we know what we want to do, and we can vision board it to death.
Yeah.
But when you're held accountable for that and what the steps are, to me, that would be the thing that most people would push back on.
That is, and there are all of the excuses.
Yeah,
you know, all of the excuses. So I'll just tell you all right now, if you're watching and you're looking for a coach and you decide to coach with me, I don't do excuses.
I love
I'm
it.
smiling right now, but I'm a hardcore
She has come in
coach.
very smiley today, I gotta tell you that.
So I don't do the excuses there. And once we can get past all of the excuses, you just get the results.
Right.
You know, no excuses. You get your results, and then you move on to the next thing.
But how do you cater it to each individual? Because everybody's got their own dream, their own idea of success, where they want to be. So if you're coaching them, if you're a success coach, how do you cater it for someone? Do you have a laundry list of things that you go through? Is there an entire probationary or introductory period where you're trying to do you disc profile them? Do you use something where you're really getting them into it so that you understand how to really best coach them?
Yeah, one of the very first things that we do, and I will tell you, I only do catering to a certain extent. So the process is the process. She's all about
accountability. Listen, I love it. It's awesome.
So I only cater to a certain extent, and I cater at the very, very beginning. So when you first start coaching with me, we're gonna talk about your strengths, your talents, and your values. Your values are going to be what drives your decision making. So if you say that you're committed to being healthy, well, you know, if health is a value to you, your choices will reflect that. And if your choices aren't lining up with that, it's probably not a value for you.
I would not want you to be my accountability person on that.
So we start there, and that's how I get to know you. That's how I get to understand, you know, what you're trying to do, what makes you tick, what motivates you. From there, we create a purpose statement, and then we just start working towards that and making sure that your career, your finances, your health, and your relationships are all aligned and working together to help you achieve that goal.
Let's talk about purpose statement.
Yeah.
I have friends, Alex Agresta and Thomas Waterman, who have a company called Purpose Pioneers, and everything is very purpose driven, and that seems to be a very powerful 2018 word especially, and I love it. So when you're talking about somebody's purpose, I would imagine people would either go, well, that's very ethereal and I have no earthly idea what that means, because people really don't take the time to evaluate or really go inward and think about what their pizza, look at you, John, what their purpose is. I'm going to kill you. So how do you define that with people? How do you get to that? And what does purpose mean? Does that mean what you feel like you were put on this earth to do? Is that what purpose is? Or how do you help them define that?
You know, when I define purpose, I define it as it's the way that you are uniquely equipped to positively impact this world.
I love that.
All right, so that is how you are uniquely able to do it. You can do an interview. Oprah can do an interview. You know, a lot of people can do interviews. She used my name and Oprah's
in the same sentence, by the way.
Yes, that's how I view him. But you're uniquely able to do it in a certain way. You got a unique way that you reach your audience. So that's what we tap into when we're trying to identify your purpose, so that you don't get so sidetracked or frustrated or overwhelmed. And that's actually what the book is about as well. It's like, how do you achieve your purpose without getting stressed out or overwhelmed along the way? How do you enjoy your life along the way as you try to achieve purpose?
So let's talk about the book. The book is The Fruit of Your Spirit, which I love. And the fruit of the spirits of the fruit is biblical.
It is,
and of course, but it's across the world.
It is.
I mean, it's across everything. So talk about that. So what is the fruit of your, first of all, spirit? That goes back to purpose. So give them an idea of how you came up with that title and why you think that's so important when you're working with people. Important enough for you to write an entire book
about it. Yeah, certainly. So when we're talking about your spirit, we're talking about your essence, like the very thing that makes you who you are. It's what makes you unique. It's what, you know, it's the impact that you make when you enter a room or leave a room. You know, it's who you are. And when we talk about the fruit of the Spirit, you know, as you said before, it is based on a scripture in the Bible, but it's universal. In fact, in that scripture it says, against such there is no law. And it's love, it's joy, it's peace, it's self-control, it's faithfulness. You know, we can't argue that any of these things are not good for us.
Correct.
So when we let those things transform us from within, we're actually able to see the results that we want on the outside. So if you operate from a place of love, if you operate from a place of joy, even if you operate from a place of kindness, you're actually in a better position to achieve the purpose that you're actually going after. You're in a better position to get the results that you want. So the fruit of the Spirit allows us to achieve the fruit of our spirits. The fruit of our spirits would be purpose. The fruit of our spirits would be the goals that we've set for ourselves. You know, if you're trying to land a huge contract, you know, with a company that you know, like through kindness or through gentleness or through self-control, you're actually able to get the results that you're after. So it applies to every area of your life.
Thank you. And thank you, Pete Crotty. I think the pink blazer would look sharp with that shirt. Thank you. He's so funny. So but here's my thing. So we talk about purposes, so people go, all right, Jalyn, I think I'm good at XYZ. Or sometimes they've never even been asked or verbalized what they think their purpose is. Again, you said it's universal, but I think, and most people think, I've got to be put on this earth to do more than I'm doing. And that goes across the board. You could be here or you could be here.
Right.
And there are still people who, we all think, am I doing everything I'm supposed to be doing? I think that's a natural thought in us.
Yes.
How do you help people figure that out? How do you help them really narrow it down and go, all right, so that's my purpose? Or I feel like drinking wine all day is my purpose, right? It's not. But let's say that's my gift. How do you help, because I like the word gift too.
Yeah, certainly.
How do you help them figure out what their gift is and then translate that so that they can be more purposeful in their lives?
Yeah, certainly. So it takes place through having those conversations. You know, like as you said before, some people have never even been asked or they've never really sat down to actually think about it. You've got to create space in your life to figure out. You've got to create space in your life to figure that out. You've got to create a space where you can actually think about what's important to you in life. You know, where do you want to be? And you know those answers, okay? So let's just lay that out right
You're
there.
right. You do
Deep
know
down
them.
inside, you know those answers. Now, there might be fear getting in the way.
Tons.
There might be doubt getting in the way. You might be looking at your bank account and that's getting in the way. You know, there are all these external factors that could be getting in the way. But deep down inside, you know it. You have a good sense of where you want to go and where you want to be and who you want to be. So it's just a matter of getting past those blockers so you can actually start taking a step in the right direction.
Correct. And I think people, you're probably your own worst enemy.
Yes.
And then
I
you
can testify
surround,
to that.
right? I think all of us can, because
Yeah.
the doubt is it's so strong within
It's so
yourself.
strong.
And then if you have anybody around you who even feeds that doubt a little bit, it will completely shut you down from
Exactly.
trying to figure out what your gifts, your fruit is. And I think that people spend their lifetimes not ever attaining anything or doing anything that they always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I find that sad. So one of the things we talk about on the show all the time is take the risk. So your book is about that. Your book is about helping people discover what that is, and then here are some steps and here are some things you can do to actually let it manifest, not just sit there.
Exactly.
So what are some things that we can do as you're coaching people, as you're talking to people, and people are through your success coaching and through your book, they're discovering, all right, I definitely want to take the leap. Mm-hmm. So the leap doesn't mean, I'm going to say this out loud, it doesn't mean you leave your $100,000 a year job with all of your benefits and all of a sudden you have nothing and no plan.
That is not, you will never hear me tell you that.
No, and so,
ever.
but a lot of people are like, I'm going to take the leap, Ted. Okay, not off the building and not that way. I need you to be focused on it and have a plan, I think is what it is. So how do you get them to go, okay, I'm willing to make the leap now, Jalyn. Mm-hmm. What do I do next? Do you have a planning process? How do you get them so they're comfortable to finally go, all right, I'm going to take a step in faith. I'm going to take this step out.
Yeah, it is all about small incremental steps. You know, sometimes when I'm coaching someone, and I might not be an expert in their field. Let's just say that they want to go into sports management. And they don't know the first step that they want to take. They know they want to leave their current job as a bank teller at BB&T Bank, you know. Right. But and then they want to go into sports management, but they don't know what to do next. All right. So I'm like, okay, well, what do you think you should do next? And normally they have a pretty good answer for that. And if they don't, I'm always like, listen, what's the most basic thing you can do? I mean, we're in 2018 right now. Google it, okay?
Right.
Like, how do you literally type into Google, how do I get into sports management?
There's even videos out there too, right? YouTube.
Exactly.
YouTube has instructions for everything.
For everything. So it's small things like that where if we're not in a position where you need to quit your job just yet, you know, what's something you can do today to help you get closer to where you want to be? And that's really the goal. Every day you're making a step closer towards where you're trying to go. You know, and if you do that day after day after day, I mean, we spend more days dreaming about what we want than we do actually doing it. If you took all those days actually taking a small step each day, you'd be a lot further along than where you are right now.
Correct, and I think so again, I want to reiterate, we don't want to take that giant leap with having no plan in place and not having taken any steps. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference between dreaming and then figuring out how you're going to manifest how you're going to make that dream happen. Yes. So what Jalyn is saying is you just really want to you want to sit down with a success coach. You want to sit down with Jalyn. You want to sit down and really map that out.
Map it out.
Because if you don't map it out and you take the leap, you could be in very dire straits. And I've had people do that. That's why I keep saying it. I've never recommended that, but I've had people take the leap and their dream was true. I believe their dream was real. I 100% believe that they were put on this earth to do what they wanted to do.
Exactly.
Don't jump, that's right.
Don't
Bob
jump.
Lee's on there posting, I love it. But you definitely want to plan it out. Don't make that leap until you talk to somebody. You really map it out.
Plan it out. And the thing with the maps, people, sometimes they they've just got really broad goals, and it's like you've got to break that down into smaller pieces, so so we map it out, but we map it out into actionable steps that you can take so that you're not overwhelmed and frustrated that you just give up and not do anything because you're not making
That's
the
a great
progress
point.
that you
So
want.
people do. So they think, okay, I've got all this to do. And so they jump 25 steps ahead before taking the first step. Then they're frustrated. They want to give up.
And then they're done.
And then they're done. And so they never really let it sink in that they should have done the first step. You can't, again, make the jump without taking step by step. And it has to be thought out. Bob keeps saying, don't jump. I love it.
Listen, don't jump off the building. Take the stairs down.
Just take the stairs.
Step by step.
Actually,
just take it.
you could take the elevator down if you're me. You know I'm not walking 18 flights. But it's so important to listen to what Jalen's saying because we all have this gift. I sit with people every day and I'm amazed at the things that they have to say and their insight. And I'm also amazed at the stationary place they're at sometimes. And then I'm amazed that people made it from point A to point B. But most of the people that did mapped it out somehow. They took little baby steps. They figured it out. They went along. They didn't make this giant leap into things.
They did. But something that I want to point out is that it's not always what you're doing, but it's how you do it. And that is really the premise of this book. Because I'll tell you right now, people look at my life and they think, she's pretty successful. She's, A, B, C. She graduated from a good school. She landed a good job. She travels around the world. She has her own home. She's doing some really great things. But I wasn't doing it the right way. I was doing it from like a place of anger or a place of fear. I was doing it, I would snap at people or I wasn't the kindest in my interactions with individuals. So you've got how you take those steps, how you do those things is just as important as what you do. And when I talk about the fruits that are in this book right now, the fruit of the Spirit, things such as operating from a place of kindness, speaking gently, being faithful to your pursuits in life, not letting go of those things, not giving up so easily, but being faithful, exercising self-control, like how you do whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish is just as important as what you do. And that's really what I'm focused on here, because you can get somewhere, you can have a goal, and you can want all the right things, but there's a right and wrong way to do it. So you've really got to tap into some of these resources that people don't always think about. You don't always think about how being peaceful with yourself, being peaceful with others, you don't always think about how peace can actually help you get to the end game, can get you the result that you want, but it does. I mean, there are so many people who are warring and fighting against all kinds of things, but you don't always have to fight. Sometimes you can operate from a place of peace, and you get to where you want a lot faster. So that book talks about how you use these different resources that people don't always think about to get the results that you're after.
I love that. So yeah, you can, all of us who see on social media, especially lately these days, there is just so much hate and warring going on.
Yes.
Nobody's listening. First of all, nobody's hearing the other side. They say they are, and I'm not saying anything about either side. It's just you're talking about something that's so important to me personally when I'm doing work with anyone. You have to come from a place of kindness. You just everything you do should have kindness in it, kindness and love. And it's not always easy. I'm not sitting here like I'm Gandhi, but I think that if you go into every conversation, every meeting, every discussion, and there is love and kindness in your heart and your approach, you will be amazed at how far you go.
It is.
And it's amazing. A challenge. We're human, so we've had a bad day, a bad week. We might not even like some of the people that we're in the room with. That's about them. This is about you.
You've got to own your own actions.
You have to own your own actions.
You've got to own that.
And so I love that because people are like, you're so calm. Okay, listen, it may look like that, but I know I go into everything as calm as I can and trying to envision the fact that this is just another human being that I'm meeting with. I'm grateful that I am, and I want to do it with kindness. So I love that about your book. I love that about your thought process. People don't do that, though. They go in and they have to be right, and they have to be right.
Slam their fist
and that's
down,
it.
and that's just
my
it.
point of view is it. And if you don't hear me, then you're wrong, and they don't go into it with the right mindset or the right heart.
Exactly. And that is really, if you keep your heart right, you're going to get to where you want to go. And you're going to get there in a much better state of mind.
I think I'm happy all the time. Mostly. Well, it could be the margarita.
It could be, it
might be the margarita, but
the margarita.
9 times out of 10.
But I'm pretty sure you got kindness in your heart.
Thank you very much.
It's just a touch of margarita.
It's just a little touch. All right, so talk about the book launch, because that's today. This
certainly.
is it. This is the big day.
Yes. So I am releasing my book today. We're going to have this book release party downtown in Orlando at Aloft Hotel. I couldn't be more excited about it. And if anyone knows my personality, I'm not really a party type of person. It isn't my natural thing to do.
I mean, ignore the margarita, apparently.
Yes, ignore that. It's not my natural thing to do, but a lot of people have supported me along the way, and so this is my way of giving back to them as well. I want to let them know, I want to share with them this milestone, this journey as well, and hear from them too. I've been talking a lot about this book and about myself and things like that, but it's impacted some people already, so I want an opportunity to hear from them as well. So I couldn't be more excited about this book release today.
That's awesome. So we will, when we're finished, and we're getting ready to wrap up, we'll share the book launch information, book release information. We'll share where you can purchase the book. I'm so excited for you. We'll share all of Jalyn's contact information when we share the video later on. It goes by fast, right?
It does.
So even though we had a little bit of technical difficulties there for a second, leave them with some parting words of wisdom or anything that you want to leave them with would be awesome.
Yeah, I would tell you that you can have all the money in the world. You can have all of the material possessions. You can have a great fancy job. You can have all these external things, but only the pursuit of purpose brings that true fulfillment and satisfaction in life. So if there's something inside of you that you're really after, that you really want to accomplish, don't jump. No need to jump anywhere. Nevertheless, let's create a plan. Let's make it happen, because honestly, when you're at your best, the world gets better. We all get a lot better when we're all operating at our best and doing what's really important and impactful to us.
That's beautiful. You have a great smile, beautiful smile, Shirley Stamper said. Servant's heart, I love it. You were awesome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You guys were great. Thanks for all the comments, and you'll be able to reach out to Jalyn, and we'll give all the information when we post the video. We love you guys. Thanks for all the love and support.
Thank you so much
You're
for
awesome.
listening today.
Absolutely. What you said today is so important. I wish more people could hear it. Because I see a lot of anger and sadness around in the world, and I just want to go, God, just try kindness for a little bit. Just try it. It's contagious. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.